Welcome to March 21st of 2025. That's Women's History Month, 2025. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful piece, Quiet Afternoon, by Judith Lang Zaimont. As a reminder, I put out a call for scores among the New York women composers as part of my grant that I received from them this year. And any composer who was a member of New York Women Composers could just email me pieces that they think would be nice for this month for me to play. When I saw Judith Lang Zaimont's name pop up in my inbox, I was just thrilled because she is my former professor at the University of Minnesota. I studied with her for 2 years while getting my master's in Minneapolis. And so just to hear from her via this connection was fabulous. Of course, I did play one of her pieces on the first year that I did Women's History Month in 2023, which you can watch anytime on YouTube. But that was my decision. Here, I was given a couple pieces from Professor Zaimont to choose from, and I chose this year, although next year I might choose one of the other pieces that she sent me too, because they were all fabulous. From what I understand in communicating with her, I believe I am the first pianist besides her to perform this piece. So if you want to hear it, you have to go to YouTube right here. We are going to speak with Judith Lang Zaimont right now. And just a heads up, this is a longer interview than usual because I found like I was getting a little bit of a composition lesson or mini discourse on composers and music and creativity. So I really wanted to give you a lot of what I got from reconnecting with my former professor, Judith Lang Zaimont. Please enjoy, and I will see you tomorrow. Hello, Judith Lang Zaimont. I have known you for many, many years. You were my professor at the University of Minnesota, and it's delightful to see you face to face again. And please tell us about yourself.
I grew up in New York. I was not born in New York. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, but my family moved to New York before I was 1 year old. And I grew up there, and everything about New York seems home to me. I taught at a number of universities there once I finished my own education. I took advantage of the fact that in a major metropolitan area like that, there is a world-class bar that you have to climb above if you are going to be recognized. So it's not a question of the prophet being listened to only in that prophet's home territory. It's a question of doing stuff that is at a level of world excellence. And so to have that high bar always before me in terms of education, in terms of musical accomplishment, whatever, was very important. The fact that I was performing all over the United States, that I was recording, that I was on television, on the radio also, a good bit of radio. Those things made a difference, but they were all part of life in New York. And New York has been the standard for every place else I have been. The most important thing to know about this piece is that it was written about 1 month after very major surgery, which knocked me out for quite a while. And stepping back, I thought I was finished writing piano music in 2000. I've been writing music for 68 years, so. And had started with piano and vocal music and an early flute sonata and some other things. So I thought I was finished with this once I reached my sonata in 2000, which pretty much said what I wanted to say. And then I didn't write piano music for almost a decade until the piano concerto of 2010, and then put it away again. And just started coming back to piano music during the COVID lockdown in 2020. So there's a little suite from 2021. And then there are 2 pieces that bracket my surgery. 1 piece written in the month before the surgery, and 1 piece written starting a month after the surgery, before, after medical procedures went on. So it was a question of two different statements. One is sort of splashy and intricate. The other is Quiet Afternoon, written after the surgery on two different winter afternoons when all I wanted was spaciousness and calmness and something long breathing, which is not usually a characteristic of my music. In fact, I've just finished a Knuckle Buster, the solo piano. That's a completely different piece. So Quiet Afternoon stands in its place as a calm, spacious statement with a lot of room for interpretation of the simplest of melodic material by a distinguished piano. The main thing about this piece that is important to know, in addition to the fact that it's a canvas for interpretation and held back interpretation. This is not for wild poetry, except in certain places. It's mostly for calmness and long breathing. The big thing is the pedaling, because the pedaling builds up these huge sonorities over the course of several bars that just shimmer in the air. And you really can't play this piece on an electric keyboard. You need a grand piano for it, something that has a sostenuto pedal, una corda, and a damper pedal. So those are the delimits for it. Otherwise, it looks very unassuming on the page. That's not altogether correct. So let me leave it at that.
Yes, I can vouch for that for sure. So apart from the Knuckle Buster that you just finished writing, what else are you working on these days?
What else have I written recently? I wrote my first string quartet in 2008, and the second one in 2016, and I just finished in 2024 the third string quartet, a big new piece for wind ensemble. And I've been approached to do a texted piece. That's all I want to say about that, because it's going to be a big undertaking.
Wow. So it sounds like, retiring from university life has made you more prolific than ever.
One might say that. Since I've retired, I've written 3 symphonies, a tone poem, quite a lot of chamber music. The main thing was the projection of my career is anything but typical. I wrote my first symphony when I was 50 years old. I'm 79 now. And I am still writing music. And I think the music is pretty interesting. Each piece needs to have a reason for being. Each piece needs to be an adventure for the composer. If it's not, if you're just spinning your wheels, or you hear references to earlier music you've written in the music you're writing, throw the pages away. You want to be on that adventure in every piece. Otherwise, it won't capture your spirit fully. That's all I can say. And I'm sure that's true of your own music.
Yeah, I would say yes. I fully agree with that. And it's a constant challenge and a constant adventure. I think adventure is exactly
right. It should never feel easy. It should never feel like you're just going through the motions.